Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about what's upcoming for the next farmable character for the first week of December, because I forgot to run a poll. Normally, on my YouTube channel and on Discord, I run what's called the Farmability poll, where I ask people who I think is going to be upcoming next. And honestly, I think because of this past week or so, I've been doing things in real life. Believe it or not, I know I've been putting videos out almost every day, but yeah, I've been kind of skipping things that I would normally do outside of the event videos because I've just lost track of time, frankly. So we're going to be talking about this in today's video. Normally, I beat that drum of farmability like quite often, but it has been a little while since I've talked about it. So I want to take a look at my data, take a look at what's been happening recently, and kind of get a better idea about who might be upcoming next. So if you're ready to go, let's boil this down. Here we are. Okay, so why do I have this mail up? Well, what's interesting is if you didn't read, there's data mines and stuff as well, but it's here now too. But what's interesting, of course, is that we're going to be getting additional hard difficulty chapters. And now I do want to say that this is probably the best thing that's come to Marvel Strike Force. I was going to say since sliced bread, but no, this is actually a really good addition to the game. There's a couple reasons for that, and that's because the rewards that you get out of these chapters, plural, are way better than Do More. It's also much easier to do than Do More because it doesn't have the restrictions that you need to do them with the character traits and stuff like that. Whereas this is just, the same as, heroes, villains. And I don't know what this is. This could be more heroes and villains. This could be, I don't know. Are they going to rehash Cosmic and Mystic? I don't know. I really don't know. But what we do know is that usually this comes along with more stuff to farm. So my guess is this is going to be more teal gear. Could this be T16 minis? I don't know. But obviously there's going to be some characters that are going to be added to these nodes, just like there was for hard mode heroes and villains, which was quite good. We had Wong, we had Madeline Pryor for what it's worth, and Cersei that came later on. And so that's the basis that I want to talk about, the farmability. Because if we go into this is my farmability table, which I haven't brought up in a little while, I admit. And so here we are in November of this month, really. I guess it's ending. By the time you're watching this, it's probably December already. But we had Wong and Cersei. Now, Wong came first, and then actually Madeline Pryor came first, and then Cersei came later when they released the Villains chapter. I just kind of put it in this way. And then we had Mr. Negative. Now, Mr. Negative is available on the web store for 5 shards. Well, it started at 10 shards and then 5 shards every day. And so I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you perceive this to be farmable? This is essentially Wolverine, a Wolverine-style system, except for you have to make sure that you go onto the web store to collect your 5 shards every day. But this means that you could max a character in, well, you need, was it 710 shards? 310 is for a 5-star, plus 500, 810 shards, sorry. Divided by 5, mental math is like 160? Something like that, 160 days maybe. So about five and a half months, right, to max out Mr. Negative. I actually don't think that's very long, because all things considered, to go from 0 especially to a 7-star, that's pretty good and pretty fast as far as Marvel Strike. Normally characters have to be out that long or way longer before they even start to become farmable. So I'm actually considering this to be farmable for me. But I'll understand that if you guys don't consider Mr. Negative as actively farmable, but I think that is, because you're getting regular 5 shards. We don't know for how long, but it could be for a while. And I think, for better or for worse, whatever you think about Mr. Negative, the method is still there to get him. And so that gives us 4 characters that have been made farmable in the month of November. And that means that we had 3 characters released in November, which gives us a net positive score of +1. And we've never actually had this before, believe it or not. If you look... Oh, There we go. If you look on the far right of my screen here, then you can see that we broke even on October, where we had 3 characters released and 3 characters farmable, and then it wasn't very good before that. It was -2 for September. We had 4 characters released and only 2 farmable. Before that, it broke even. But this was the first time that it's actually up 1, if you consider Mr. Negative to be farmable. So we're actually doing a little bit better, and there's a little bit more green here on the chart, so they're trying to do a little bit more, and maybe that these campaign releases is how they're going to do it. Now I want to talk about sort of like who might be, or where and who might be coming up next. So we have to kind of go back a little bit here to my character data chart. Now, if we look at like sort of where we're at right now, you know, we had Wong, we had Madeline Pryor, Mr. Negative is a bit of a, way down the list down below. We're at Agatha. I don't think that Icarus is on the cards. He's in the Premium Orb exclusive. We already got Cersei. I think we'll be waiting quite a while, frankly, before Icarus becomes actually farmable outside of the Premium Orb. But I think as far as they're concerned, they consider that to be farmable, so that is what it is. And so me having Cersei on there actually may not even be considered farmable in their eyes. But nonetheless, we will be getting a new character at the first Wednesday of every month, which is going to be next Wednesday, December the 7th. We're going to see this in the blog post on Friday, probably, which is the reason why I'm doing this video today, because I want you to let me know who you think might be on this list for the first week or in the campaigns when we get the patch. And so here are the potential candidates with Agatha. Now, what I'm concerned about, so Agatha, a lot of people, consider Agatha to be the best character outside of Morgan Le Fay or the Gambit of Darkhold. So I don't know if she's necessarily going to be on a node. And what's interesting about this is that I do find that the node's actually to be slower of a farm than a store farm. It's slower than a war store farm. We'll talk about the war store because we'll take a look at sort of when characters came out. So Agatha could be on a node, because you typically get anywhere from 2 to 2.5 shards. I know you can't get half a shard, but 2.5 shards is like the estimate of daily. Like sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's nothing, sometimes it's 4. That's typically what you get in a day. That's more average. And then we have Spider-Woman, Nico Minoru, and Phantom X. I usually take a look at 4 or 5 characters, that haven't been come out yet, and whether or not they're going to be out. Now, personally, I think that we will get one of A-Force at least. I think we'll get Phantom X. We've had a lot of Phantom X shards shoveled at us, and he's not a very good character for Unlimited X-Men, so there really is no reason to hold them back any further. So I'm going to say Nico, and because I think Spider-Woman's a bit better of a character, I'm going to say Nico and Phantom X to start, and then maybe we'll get another one. Maybe we'll get Agatha later, like Cersei. So I don't know if Spider-Woman's necessarily going to make the cut this time. And I don't think Dazzler's going to make the cut this time either. It's possible we could get one of these characters later on, though, but I'd be interested to know what your guys' thoughts are. And absolutely, we're not getting Gambit anytime soon. We're not even going to talk about him because he is the best character in Unlimited X-Men outside of Rogue, hands down. And I don't think that's happening. Now, beyond that, I don't know if they would skip ahead for Sunfire or for Mighty Thor or Valkyrie. You could argue that because we had so many shards shoveled at us as well. I keep saying shoveled. I was literally just outside my house shoveling snow, so maybe that's why I have there's snow everywhere. I have shovels on the mind right now, I guess. So if I keep saying that, that's why. But Mighty Thor, we did get a lot of these shards, just like from the initial event when they gave us the 180 shards because of the Summer of Blunders, and then Valkyrie was a campaign event, so it's possible they could jump that far ahead, but I don't think they will this time around. And it's kind of interesting to know where characters have come out recently. So if we double back a little bit to the character farm chart, and sort of when the last characters came out before this. So excluding the campaigns, we had Evil Strange, who was put into the Arena Orb in October, and then we had Morbius put into the Blitz Orb in October, and that bumped Spider-Punk from the Arena Orb into the Arena Store, and I believe Silver Samurai, I didn't mention it here, but I think it was Silver Samurai from the Blitz Orb before that into the Blitz Store. I'm pretty sure that's what things were at. And then, of course, Icarus and Cersei into the Premium Orb. So prior to this, we had Echo in the War Store, which means that there's a bit of a 3-month gap from the War Store. Another thing that we haven't seen in a long while is the Raid Store. I know we've had characters shifted into the Raid Store, I think from other locations, whether it's from nodes, typically nodes, and they're being shifted from those nodes into the Raid Store, but we haven't had an actual Raid Store release, which is strange. And I don't know if I'm getting this right here. I mean, it doesn't seem like I've listed any character here except for Cloak, which was in the Raid Store in February. which was a long-ass time ago. We had the raid milestones of Ghost Spider, but we never had an addition to the raid orb, except for some of these characters that were shifted in there, like I said. So could we get a raid store character, or maybe they've abandoned that? Maybe they're going to be moving characters from nodes, from prior nodes, and moving them into the raid orb that way. I think when Dr. Voodoo got added to Mystic 1-6, whoever was on that before, I don't remember who it was, but I believe, or was that Vision? No, Vision was 3-9. That was Kate Bishop. So I think whoever was on Mystic 1-6 got shit. Was that Loki? Who got shifted into the raid orb. So I think we might be seeing another war character, another war store candidate. I think it's a bit too early for Blitz. It's possible we could get an arena orb thing, because just before that was, it was about 2 or 3 months. So maybe we might see an arena. I think war. So war store, and the nodes is what I'm thinking. So when you go back to the characters that we were just talking about, who do you think could be most likely candidates for those situations? Honestly, I think Agatha could be a war store character. I think people just generally hate buying shards out of the war store. I'm still buying Echo shards, actually. She's at 6-star, but not at 7-star yet. So I could definitely see Agatha being into the war store, and then Phantom X and Nico to start on these new campaign nodes for that, and then maybe there's going to be a Spider-Woman possibly added on for the next set, depending on how many chapters are coming out. But I do have to say, and I kind of want to pivot this briefly into talking about the hard mode campaigns, because honestly, I do think it's the best thing to come to Marvel Strike Force. I think it's very good, and I said this in the beginning, and the reason is because the requirements are so broad and it's so easy to clear that you get access to all of these characters, and you get the teal gear, and you get the orange gear, and I believe in some instances there are Gear 15 minis, which help as well. I don't think there's actually as many gear now that I think about it. It's mostly Origin gear. There's only a few instances of the G15 minis. Most of it is in Do More, but regardless, there's still lots of good stuff in here. I think it's these nodes that have the G15 on it anyways. But yeah, no, I really enjoy this, and I hope that they continue on with this in terms of the double dipping, that you can sort of you can get a lot of the stuff out of it. They don't put too much restrictions on it, and that would be really good for the overall farm and health of the game. Because honestly, Do More is such a piece of shit. Honestly, these are so bad. A lot of these lanes are not characters that you want to gear for the most part. This one's got a little bit better, the Do More for Hero Mutants, because of Unlimited X-Men, although they're not on farm yet. But there is a handful of places where they use characters that you don't really want to build up. And it's really, this one, 2-7 to 2-9, Black Order, Hydra, Power Armor, what the hell? And then people largely will go to 2-6 for Capsam and then end there. But honestly, I think it's just so much better just to avoid all of this. Hand, Marauders and Spider-Verse, AIM, there's Wakandans, but still, by and large, I really don't like doing this, and I haven't even done this on my baby account, because I just can't bring myself to have to build up some of the ones that you kind of need to do nowadays for this, and there's just nothing good in here other than the minis, which I know I'm saying that there's the minis, but there's other ways to get them as well, and without having to invest in characters that you're not necessarily building anymore. So I do hope that when they release these new campaigns, that they're not restricted, not restricted in a team trait way, and I hope that they're just left to whatever they end up doing, whether it's more heroes campaigns, more villains, or they're regurgitating the Cosmic and Mystic campaign, because I think this has been a good addition to the game, and I hope they keep doing this, and it's a good way to inject the farmability that's much needed in this game as well. So let me know in the comments down below, which characters do you think are going to be made farmable, and do you think that they're going to be on the campaign, or do you think they're going to be in the war store? Agatha, Spider-Woman, Nico Minoru, Phantom X, maybe Dazzler could be up for grabs. Let me know in the comments down below, and of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.